Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a huge favor. Smash that subscribe button. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Let's get right into it. A lot of conversation online about Canadian content, the value of the Canadian draft, the value of the ratio. So, people say that it takes maybe 3-4 years for draft classes to develop and see what you really get in them in the CFL. So let's look back then to the 2021, 2022, while we're kind of mid-season, to see where this talent is from those past couple of drafts. And we'll draft and we'll grade them. Let's start with 2021 since it's first. You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at that draft, I mean, you got Liam Dobson, third overall there, and then Reda Camji in the second round. So after that, though, not much there, right? I mean, you got Rene Patrice in the third round. I don't know, is he still in the CFL?
He's on the Lions.
He's on the Lions, okay. And then, but you look at the guy drafted right after that was Ben Hladek on the Lions. So a bit of a miss there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go through this whole draft as a whole, as a CFL, right, there's not a lot of guys or superstars in here kind of thing, right? But yeah, Ben Hladek just stuck out to me. The problem is the Bombers don't have Liam Dobson anymore. So to me, if you still had Dobson, at least this draft probably would have been graded pretty good.
Yeah.
Because you hit on your first two. You got two starters out of the mix, which is for me in a CFL draft is great.
Heck yeah.
Right. But losing Dobson to me diminishes this draft and what the Bombers were able to do.
You got a draft grade for that?
I'm going to give him, just because of that, a C, kind of thing. Gramdy so far has done well. Not a superstar or anything, but he's been solid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this draft, if the Bombers were able to keep all that talent, they'd be better than their record is right now. If they still had Liam Dobson on the line, yes, they'd have to invest some money somewhere else, maybe get an American to play defensive tackle. I don't know. We're taking the risk for sure. We'll talk about defensive tackle in a bit. And you'd have Reda Camji, who's starting at safety / linebacker, nickelback or dimeback, sorry. And you'd have a backup in depth-wise, a Canadian DB with this Patrice Rene guy who's on BC right now. So I think in regards to that draft, it's a B+. Or probably A, now that I'm talking.
But with Dobson or without Dobson?
With. That's an A. That's an A draft.
Yeah, if you
kept Dobson. They don't have him, that's the Walters' fault for not being able to retain the talent. But I'm saying that's a dang good draft. Like you get 3 players who will be role players and 2 of them are starters, and you draft that's a rarity.
Oh, for sure. But you got to
hold on to him.
Yeah, you got to keep those guys though afterwards, right? I mean, you develop Dobson, and you developed him into a starting guard and everything like that, and then you just let him go, right? And we've talked about how important an O-line and D-line is to team success in the CFL or in football in general, right? So you got to hang on to these guys.
There's a couple salaries that you could have sacrificed to keep Liam Dobson. I'm still bitter, eh?
Yeah. He would have been the one. You know what? That sucks losing Lawler as well, but I would have paid to keep Dobson over Lawler if we had to.
Absolutely. When you have a Canadian woman like that, for sure. He's like a Rod Black kind of guy. There's a grinder who will beat your ass on the line. Yeah. They could sure use some of that toughness right now.
You are exactly.
I'm not saying that the guys on the O-line aren't tough right now, but, he had that Canadian O-line nastiness.
Well, yeah, you got Dobson to this point where he was starting to come into form last year, right? And he had an all-star season, right? And now all of a sudden you let him go. So these other guys, Gabe Wallace, all those guys are going to need to catch up and get to that point, but you're starting all over again and now having to get to those guys to where Liam Dobson was.
Oh, if Gabe Wallace became like an all CFL liner like Liam Dobson, that'd be crazy.
No, for sure.
2022 draft, I'll give that a B+, just because of Terrell Ford. He's a crazy Canadian defensive back, starting defensive back, rarity. And I wish the Bombers still had him again, but that's a heck of a draft when you can get that player.
Yeah, it's second round. You get Terrell Ford. For sure. I'll give it a B, but it sucks losing a guy, in these two drafts because you look at the rest of the draft and there is nobody, that the Bombers picked that is still around uh, for the team. So again, that 2022 ends up being a wash when you lose Tyrell Ford. Now I know, losing him was probably, he wanted to go to Edmonton, play with his brother, if that's the real reason and all that stuff. So that would have been a tougher one to keep. And I mean, to me, is he having the same type of season in Edmonton that he had with the Bombers? I haven't heard his name too much this year, and I don't know if he's having the same kind of success that he had here. So, hopefully it works out. But man, I wouldn't mind getting him back, especially the way the DBs for the Bombers have been playing this year.
They always say when you don't hear an offensive lineman's name, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think they're number one in regards to the least amount of sacks in the league right now. They're the worst rushing team though, or second worst.
Wait, you're going back to talking about Dobson here or Tyrell Ford? Tyrell Ford's not a lineman.
Sorry, Dobson.
Okay. No, I was talking about Tyrell Ford and hearing his name. Dobson, yeah, Dobson's been fine. But Tyrell Ford, in terms of, I mean, how many interceptions did he have last year? Seven, 8, 7, right? So I don't know if he's on that pace with the Elks so far this year or not. But that defense for Edmonton has not been very good.
I'm so bitter still about Dobson, and my mind went meandering and brought it back to Dobson.
I was like, did Tyrell Ford switch positions?
So bitter. After the crazy performance last game, record-breaking, both in grade, PFF, and for pass knockdowns in a single game, where are you putting Willie Jefferson on your all-time defenders list? For me, he's top 5, maybe top 3. That's to go into detail. That's probably another day. But me, I'm always going to have Tyrone Jones, who's finally going to be on the Ring of Honor come Banjo Bowl. Then I'd have. Now I'm reconsidering. You know what? Willie Jefferson is top 3. I did have Les Brown, but his career spanned a couple different teams, and he has some great years in Hamilton. So I'll take Tyrone Jones, Greg Battle, and Willie Jefferson top 3.
Well, we're just talking about Bombers here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I
CFL,
thought we were talking about league-wise.
CFL, I'd put Willie Jefferson probably top 2, between 25 and 30. Between 25 and 30. There are a lot of good players in the top 10 for sure. Oh, maybe top 20. But if we're going CFL, but Bombers top 3.
Yeah, I mean, okay, if we're going Bombers, then yeah, I definitely have to agree with you as well. It depends. Where are you putting Alfred Payton on that Bomber list? You're putting Alfred Payton on that Bomber list, or are we talking about him in general in terms of CFL, like his stats kind of thing?
If I'm going to compare Willie Jefferson to Alfred Payton, yes, Alfred Payton definitely was a sack master, and Willie Jefferson does bring that element to the game. But we just saw last breakup how Willie Jefferson can single-handedly keep the Bombers in contention when they deserved no business being in contention or at least striking distance of Toronto in that Grey Cup. He single-handedly with pass rushing and blocking and interceptions. So
and you got to say the same thing for last game, really. I mean, besides him and Vival, those 2 touchdowns, really, if Willie Jefferson doesn't do what he does in that game, Bombers are losing that game. Right, the offense was sputtering. The defense, not great again on the back ends. Gave up some big plays as well. But Jefferson made the plays, and Vival was able to take 2 touchdowns back on kick returns, right, or punt returns. So those are huge. And without that performance, yeah, I agree. Willie Jefferson has the ability to take over a game. And be that guy. And, so far this year, it was kind of hit and miss. We weren't seeing that really yet from Willie, and that was his coming out party for the season. And he picked a great time because the Bombers needed to win that game. They couldn't lose another one like that to Toronto.
See, now after talking about it, I kind of feel dumb putting him between 25 and 30 in CFL all time. Maybe 15?
I'd probably put him near the top 10, at least in that case. Defenders, CFL wide.
That'd be a good debate. That'd be a good debate.
He hasn't played as long as some of these other guys. Like if you Charleston Hughes, John Bowman, Peyton, right? Willie Pless. he hasn't been in the league as long as played as many games as some of these guys did. So yeah, their stats are way better in terms of that because they played more. And I'm not saying that's the only reason why their stats are better, but yeah, I think I'd definitely put him inside close to that top 10 or somewhere around there.
Willie Pless is probably, without even considering the
Oh yeah.
60s, 70s, 40s, 30s, I'd say Willie Pless is a number one defender.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Totally agree on that. Then that's the thing, right? We can't go back far to the 50s, 60s. All we can do is stare at stats and kind of compare those. There's no footage. There's no nothing. We weren't around to see those games. So
we have bias. We have bias.
yes.
Here's a good question going on in Bomberland. Did Hogan, speaking of Hogan, rest in peace. This is a different Hogan, Jason Hogan. Did Hogan, the offensive coordinator, throw Chris Streveler under the bus?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. What are you doing? I get it. You're a rookie OC where you're trying to defend yourself, in your play calling, but you actually probably didn't help the situation, or not probably, you didn't help the situation at all. I mean, you got a guy that was struggling basically in that game, Streveler. He ended up with 3 interceptions in that game, and some of them were, ugh, right? And the offense as a whole was not working in that game, and you got to take those 3 points, unfortunately, when you're struggling like that. And the run game wasn't getting anywhere either, but I would have at least ran the ball there and not risked anything. I get it. Maybe the play call would have worked, but you're throwing it to a guy who is 5'7", 5'8", against the guy McFadden who's 6 something. So yeah, the play call, I don't even necessarily like it at all. But man, I wouldn't chuck your QB like that under the bus. And I'm sure he's learned from that rookie OC, and I'm sure O'Shea and him had some conversations to figure it out. But I don't think I've seen too many times where coaches, especially for the Bombers lately, have done that.
Yeah, I don't see why, after such a horrible offensive performance, that you make the offensive coordinator available and
That too.
open up for the questions like that. Because you knew those questions were going to come, especially with that questionable call. That was like online right away. Why did you do that? Run
Yeah.
the ball. Like you knew someone was going to ask about that. Maybe you didn't prepare him for that. Like,
No,
like
I mean,
I don't know,
take
but
the 3. You were struggling all game. Take the 3.
you got to know your
You go up.
personnel. You have to know your personnel in those situations. And when it comes down to it, you just don't throw a player under the bus in any situation. That never works out well. I don't care how close you are with that player. I don't care how good of a leader O'Shea is. That's something where you're effing with someone's pride. And pride's not the best thing in the world, but when you're dealing with professional athletes and people, doing this for their lives, you don't do that. You don't do that.
Nope. And they should have learned from last year. Wasn't it against Toronto last year too, where they had the ball deep in Toronto's end, could have kicked the field goal. They went for it on 3rd and short and did get it late in the game, and then ended up losing that game by less than a field goal. So you got to kind of look back on history and make decisions based on that as well. I know you're trying to make a name for yourself possibly in this league, but you're still a rookie OC, and you gotta learn, right? And he should have just chalked it up to, hey, I shouldn't have called that. I should have stuck with the points, and trusted my defense. At that point too, you're also thinking, hey, maybe we're never getting back down here again. Like he didn't trust his offense enough to get back down and kick another field goal in case Toronto scored a touchdown on their next drive. Like, I don't know, so many scenarios there, but yeah, hopefully he learns from that.
I think it was just situationally a good call in regards to knowing your personnel. Horrible call.
Yeah.
They knew what Toronto. Yes, Toronto. They knew what Toronto was going to show them. They got what they wanted. They just didn't have the personnel to execute it. That's a play that you'd see Caleros and Dembski all day, 1-on-1. The way Dembski's getting those balls, for sure you go any which way. Come on.
That's the thing, right? Maybe pick the right receiver also to go to. I mean,
Crazy.
all of that all together. So
thoughts on the Cam Lawson experience? Has your patience run out? Ooh, almost. I'm definitely getting there. Man, this injury bug is hampering him.
yeah.
And it's not looking good. So you really can't get a read on the guy. It's been 4 years already. You can't get a read on Lawson. I shouldn't say the guy. And also, historically, the Bombers have not drafted interior defensive linemen well.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things where you take those resources with the Canadians you have on the defensive interior line, you give it to Dobson, and you roll the dice on American talent. I'm sorry if that's insulting to anyone, but that's how I feel.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good DTs out there that you could have gone with. I agree. Lawson can't stay healthy. I mean, he's hurt again right now. Who knows if he's going to play this weekend? And even when he's in there, is he making enough of an impact? Not that I've noticed either. So yeah, I think the experiment hasn't gone very well, and I think it's pretty much run its course. And you do need to make a change next year. And I think even not to bring him into this and catch flack from another side, but Jake Thomas also is probably at that point where you need to figure out that interior defensive line, and bring in some guys that can cause havoc and make some noise there because it's not doing enough. There's not enough help, and Willie Jefferson was a one-man wrecking crew, and he needs that help there. So yeah, it might be time to move on from that Cam Lawson.
With Biggie possibly suiting up, maybe, I don't know, for next game. Fix my microphone here. Look at this. All of a sudden, y'all hear
There
me.
you go.
It's up in the air. Hopefully, it doesn't make that much of a difference. With Biggie's possibly suiting up, how would you grade his replacement on a scale of 1 to 10, Tony Jones, so far in the year?
Yeah, I like Tony Jones. He's had a pretty good year. I'm going to give him 7.5 out of 10. I mean, if stats wise, you're looking at me like that's not good enough. I got to go because this whole defense has not been good, and I know it's not his fault, but the defense as a whole has not been very good. His stats are great. I mean, what is he at? 3 sacks, an interception, 40 something tackles. I mean, if you look at his numbers, they're on par or pace, whatever the right word is, with what Big Hill has done in seasons past, right?
In good
So,
years,
yes, in
not
good
injured
years.
years, in good
So,
years.
so okay, you know what? Then I'll bump it up to an 8. I'll give it an 8. But yeah,
Yet.
no issues with Tony Jones at all in the way he's played, and I think the Bombers made the right choice in that decision.
I'm going to give him an 8-7. And of course, it's biased because I really wanted this guy to succeed. I really like the way he plays. But he's like the stats that you read out. He's solid in almost every facet of the game there. He's always around the ball. His pass coverage is pretty solid. Got that pick last game. He's good on the blitz down the gut. He's an important and impressive part of that Bomber front seven. Quietly, keeping the Bombers in the games as well. So he doesn't quite command the field like Biggie yet, but he's also definitely not quiet.
No, not at all. And I don't think the Bombers, a Big Hill and everything he's done for this team, obviously over the years, was fantastic and everything like that. But this is one of those places where the Bombers needed to make a decision, bring back the old vet or move on to a new guy, right?
Yeah.
And they finally made that right decision. And maybe because they got to see Tony Jones play last year, because who knows what they would have done if they didn't, right? If Big Hill didn't get hurt or whatever. So it'd be interesting to see if Biggie plays this weekend. That'll be cool to see. But I definitely think Biggie still has wrecked the Bombers enough for this season.
In regards to like this decision being a good one of moving on from a vet to another talent, I think yes is a good decision, but I don't think there's much of a cap impact on this one because I think Biggie was on a lower contract. He took less money his last negotiation time, and maybe Tony Jones took a little bit more. Maybe they're making kind of the same. I'm not sure exactly what the salaries are, but for cap relief, I don't think there was a much difference there in regards to what we were talking about before of letting some vets go and letting some new guys come in.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure Tony Jones is probably making close to what Big Hill would have made over the last year or so.
And respectfully, I think that's fair. We're
Yeah.
to have an all-time CFLer. Bomber blueprint. Let's move on to the next game. Third game against Calgary, who is undefeated in the West at 3-0. Both starting QBs, Caleros and Adams, looking to make their returns back to the lineup. How do the Bombers take this third matchup against the Stamps, who looked horrible, but with PJ Walker taking the starting snaps in that game against the Red Blacks? What do the Bombers need to do to take this matchup in old, tired McMahon Stadium?
I mean, it's great that Zach is back. I mean, in terms of that, hey, he's a step up from Streveler right now. But what Zach Flowers are we going to get here? He has struggled mightily against Calgary this year, throwing multiple pick sixes. But at least this time he'll have Stanley Bryant back. So hopefully that'll help solidify Well, I'm assuming Brian's back. He's been practicing all week, right? So hopefully that'll solidify the old line, which has been getting gashed. What, 5 sacks last game against Toronto? So that's not good. And obviously, Claros has taken some big hits and missed a couple. Obviously last game and didn't finish the first 2 games, the previous 2 games. I mean, so they get to have him back. They got to figure this out. They got to get Brady Oliveira going here. I know we talk about this every time we talk about the blueprint. The guy
Yeah.
still does not have 100 yards rushing, and I know he ran a lot, and the numbers weren't good against Toronto last week. But Toronto is probably like, hey, Streveler's not going to throw as much. We're going to force them to we're going to stack that box and see if Oliveira can beat us and that O-line can beat us. And it didn't against Toronto, but you really need to do that. We're still without Dalton Schoen. They got to get something going on this offense and figure things out soon.
They need to get the run to set up the pass. They need to figure out how to get the running game going and stick to it. If the Bombers can't establish the running game, they can't establish the play action. I'm going to swear again. And that means the DBs aren't looking to the backfield, which means the Bombers can't set up the big play. And if the Bombers can't set up the big play, this game is done. They dink and dunked all game the last 2 games, and they got their asses kicked. They cannot do that. If they don't establish bully ball early, it's game over. And we talked about Jason Hogan. We talked about that dude. It's him versus this, what's his name? Bob Slowick. This is his first season too as defensive coordinator, but this guy's decorated. He's no joke. He was the defensive coordinator in Montreal when they were a good defense in 2019. He's been a defensive coordinator in multiple teams against the NFL. So it's really on Hogan to figure out what Slowick's doing and figure out how to get the big play going. Because if they can't do that, it's going to be the same result as the past 2 games, unfortunately. And if they win or lose in regards to season series, it doesn't matter at this point.
No,
it doesn't matter. Not only did they lose the first 2, they got their asses kicked in the first 2. So this is about pride now. And if they can't figure a way to wake up on offense and get things going and execute, and Jason Hogan to figure out the right plays, they're going to get their ass kicked again.
Yeah, but this is a strong Calgary D, and like you say,
Yes.
coaching wise too, it's helped a lot because they got a lot of new players, and it's come together quick for them, right? And Ottawa made some plays against them last week. And when Winnipeg's got to kind of look at what Ottawa could do or did. I know PJ Walker was throwing up ducks and picks like crazy, so that didn't help the Calgary D.
They're tired.
Yeah, Winnipeg got to kind of look at that and kind of view that and see what they can get from out of them, right? Because like you say, this offense has sputtered hard against this team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be another tough outing, and again, it's in Calgary where Bombers normally do not play well, anyways. So yeah, we need something out of this offense for sure.
Good defenses have this Bomber offense and Zach Caleros figured out.
Yeah. He doesn't have the zip isn't there in Zach Lowe's arm. I mean, I'm no football professional at all, but from watching it, the zip isn't there. So those balls are sailing and sitting in the air a lot longer, and these DBs for Calgary are chomping at the bit to take that away.
Your eye test is accurate. And also, stop turning the ball over against Calgary. Stop just throwing it to the wide side of the field unnecessarily. Yes. Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Defense, what do you got? Ooh, I'm getting riled up.
Well, okay, VA is torn us apart. And again, it hasn't helped that the Bombers have turned the ball over a lot. Alford is out, or still limited, so he's probably out, but Calgary's getting back Clark Barnes. Dietrich Mills has had a great 2 games against the Bombers so far. They got to slow one of these down. They got to slow one of those guys down. You got to either take Mills out of this game early and force it on VA. But if you allow both those guys to cook, this defense is going to struggle. And we saw it against Toronto. I mean, Arbuckle still put up 300 yards even after Willie Jefferson's performance. DeMonte Coxey was burning our DBs again. And now you got Jamal Parker is out. He's hurt. I'm assuming he's out. So you're going to bring in Dexter Lawson's coming in after Marquise Bridges got cut. Yeah. So, Reda Camry, I'm assuming is back still at safety. This defense has to figure things out, and they have to stop giving up the explosive plays.
If they could hold Mills under 5 yards per carry, I think they have a chance of stopping these drives. Because Calgary is not having an excessive amount of long drives. They're just having very efficient drives that end in touchdowns against the Bombers. Like, they
Yeah.
have to stop them on second down. The
Yes.
Calgary's #1 at converting on second down, and they do it with running plays. They have the most rushing attempts, and they have the most first downs by running plays. Like, they have to get Dedrick Mills down early so they don't get momentum.
Yeah, for sure. And they just have to stay disciplined. So many guys biting on stuff. The DBs are just even Terrell Bonds this year. It's like I don't know what is going on through their head, but that secondary, which we always, over the years have applauded that they've found guys, and that secondary has always been strong. Tyrell
Yep.
Ford, Demario Houston, all that kind of stuff. But this year it's struggled, and they really need to get out of this rough patch because they need this win. I know you've already lost a season series against Calgary, but you still need to be able to stack up some wins, especially if you need to cross over to the other side, to the east side. But BC is right behind you as well,
Yes.
so it's still a long season to go, but you cannot be losing 3 games to one team.
And especially a team who is 100% touchdown in the red zone against your ass. That's unacceptable. 4 for 4, you can't do that. You got to stop them one time. Bombers are 3 for 6, 50%. 4 for 4, 100%.
Yeah.
Special teams. And keep that return game going. Free Vaval. That's funny that I say that like last week when he just had an interview with Ed Tate saying he doesn't care how people say it. He doesn't know.
He doesn't even know he said.
He's like, my dad's from Haiti, and then it ended there. It's like, what? So at least I know I'm doing all right. I'm not offending anyone. Keep him going. Like, kickoff return is the best opportunity for Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Calgary's not very good at that. Both punt coverage units are very good on both sides. Calgary has the best net average and probably the best directional punting, although I don't know who their punter is. I think they had a backup come in. But any which way, they've used 2 punters for some reason. But yeah, free Vaval.
That was a funny interview listening to him talk to Tate on that. And it's like, okay. He's like, then Tate's like, what do you want to be called? It doesn't matter. Who cares? Call me whatever. I mean, if you're going to keep returning touchdowns, we'll just call you whatever. I mean, it's great game for him, right? We saw glimpses of it happening, and I know he had fumbles in the last couple games as well, but he corrected that, and hopefully he can have another big game as well. And really, if he gets a touchdowns, fantastic. But get that field position really. Right. Yeah, at the end of the day, we'll take that more than anything and take it from there. And Calgary's return game, as far as I can tell, has not been very good. So Bombers again, just keep that coverage unit going, and continue to have strong special teams.
What if he scores a touchdown this game? How about like TDTV? Trey Bevel. And also television. Touchdown television. I think that might work. If he gets a touchdown this week, we'll start pushing that.
What do you do with Peyton Logan at this point? I mean, the guy's obviously very injured, and he was supposed to be the guy that it was our return man, was he not? Are you going to take someone else out of this lineup to insert him into this lineup, or
no?
Do you just cut ties at this point?
No, because Trey Vaval played also DB pretty decently.
Yeah,
and that's more of a concern than running back.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, you know you can't trade him.
Holy. No.
Everyone in the league knows that you don't have the leverage on that one.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit of Grey Cup. Am I right? Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm good. Who do you want to see perform at the 2025 Grey Cup halftime show in Winnipeg in the stadium behind you? Can't wait. Hope you got your ticket because they're running low.
I mean, me personally, no one's gonna like what I want to hear because I mean, I don't care. I want to go old school. I bring in Neil Young if you could. Bring in some good Manitoba boy. I'd like to listen to that rock concert than say some of the. I was looking around after you asked this question. I was like, okay, who could be out there, right? And some options were Billy Talent. People were all over Reddit talking about Billy Talent. Tate McRae. I know who she is, but I don't really know her music at all. And another option was The Weekend, and I'm like, none of those really appeal to me. So I'm like, old school. The game's almost sold out, so you don't need to have an act to come in here and help sell this game out.
Yeah.
Right. So I would love to see Neil Young.
Neil Young would have a hard time getting up for that if it was -30, -35. You'd be like, nah, not worth it. Sorry. I know I signed on the line, but I'm out. I just want to just go for something young kids like already. Like go for that Shabuzi dude who's in country. In the club, everybody in the club's getting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Although the better song when we went to the club is "Everybody in the club getting tipsy."
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what we dance to. That's real legit.
So every 10, 20 years, someone's just gonna redo that song in a different way.
Yeah, that's the dates when you can smoke cigarettes in the bar
Yeah.
and drinks were $1.
Yeah. The CFL talked about this before, though, like a couple of years ago. Hey, we want to announce these acts early in the year and all that stuff. And we're sitting here now at the beginning of August and we
Yeah,
still don't know who it is. What's going
like
on? Why is this so hard?
they're like, "Oh, Winnipeg's going to sell anyways, so we'll just wait and see what we can get."
Yeah, who are you gonna end up with? Just some random dude off the street afterwards? Like,
They're going to do a sequel to the 1991 Grey Cup halftime show. You were there. Remember that? In
yes, I
this
was
stadium
there.
here.
I was in that the end zone over there behind you.
Imagine going retro. Oh my
Oh,
God.
jeez.
Let's move on. Which current CFL star, offense, defense, special teams, are you building your team around? I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
Quarterback, I'll go with Davis Alexander. I just like his pedigree, and I get it. He's injured now, but this is on the premise of their talent, age, possibly salary, of course, ratio effect. But I'll take Davis Alexander. You got to give a good quarterback in the CFL, and I think of all of them on game day, he can beat anyone other than that dude.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's Bo Levi Mitchell has been playing lights out,
That's that
right?
dude.
Yeah, but I mean, his age is obviously up there. He's close. I mean, we thought he was done, and he has a resurrection here coming back.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's still got some time in the CFL, and like you say, his O line has been playing well, so he's not taking hits. But I probably got to go younger. If you're going Alexander, I'm going to go with Nathan Rourke. Still
Mm.
going up and down for the most part, season wise. But has shown glimpses that he can be a star in this league. So I think I might start with him at quarterback.
Going off of the Canadian at quarterback on offense. Who do you got on defense?
We talked about him already today, and again, it might be biased, but I'm going with Willie Jefferson.
All
And I
right.
know again he's up there in age, but I think the guy's work ethic,
Oh,
and everything about him can show the younger guys, hey, this is how it gets done, and this is what you need to do to have a long career in this league now,
yeah.
and just keep working hard. So I think I'd go with him.
He definitely brings a huge leadership what do you call it? A proven leadership ability into the room. I'll go. This one will hit my ratio with Cam Judge. I just like the way he plays. Been a big factor wherever he is. He loves playing against the Bombers as well. Oof. Also leading up there in tackles. I think he's second league in tackles.
Yeah.
2 picks. Um, he has some sacks.
Yeah.
Maybe one, maybe two. So I'll go with Cam Judge at linebacker. Special teams. I kind of went risky here. I'm gonna go with Javon Leake. He can bring it to the house, but also he can play offense if you need him to. He can play running back and he can play slot receiver. So I'm gonna go Javon Leake. I'll go off the grid maybe in that one. Javon Leake.
That's a good pick actually. I never even really thought about him too much. I just stuck with good old faithful Janarian Grant,
Yeah.
who unfortunately is probably not having a good a year this year as he did last year. But he's always dangerous when he gets that ball in his hands. It could have gone kicker, find a reliable kicker that's going to hit your field goals. Castile, Sean White, but what is he like 50? Sean White. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Janarian Grant here though.
CFL fans, put your picks down below. Also, if you haven't smashed that subscribe button, please do that. It helps the channel grow. We can't appreciate that enough.
Yeah, get it going. Like, let's go, right?
Yeah, let's move. What is the CFL game of the week and why? I'm going to go with Ottawa, Toronto. Both teams have horrible, they have the same records.
Yeah, 2 wins.
2 wins for both teams. This I believe the stakes are high in this game more than any. It might not be the exciting game. It might not be the best back and forth game come the end of the day, but I think these are where the stakes are. Toronto won the first game by double digits, like almost by 2 touchdowns. So Ottawa needs to win this one big. But when Toronto beat them, it was by that Swica guy. Remember, he went nuts that game?
Yep.
I think it was a fumble return and a missed field goal return.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds of that happening? And that was without Drew Brown playing. So now this is probably for the season series. If Ottawa can kick their ass, Toronto still doesn't have their starting quarterback. They're kind of reeling last game from special teams. So I think this is the game of the week. And you'd think that Arbuckle is still trying to win the starting job, although I think his hopes are done. They want to get him out of there as soon as possible. But you think he'd try that hard. And Bobby Dice is coaching for his life.
Yeah, every game.
Storylines are there.
Dice, yeah.
That's my game of the week.
The thing is, Arbuckle, that first game against Bombers was very good, perfect game kind of thing. No turnovers. Whereas last game against the Bombers, the turnovers returned. Right. So
classic Arbuckle.
Yeah, exactly. He's all over the place. He's putting up the yards this year, but yeah, he's still making tons of mistakes. So the Bombers just made him look good in that one game. So
again, just like when he played in Calgary, Bombers made him look good for one game in
Calgary. Great Cup, Calgary, yes. All over the place.
Arbuckle.
I mean, I really think BC Hamilton will probably be the game of the week, but I'm going to leave that out because this probably won't be released in time for that game. But their game last time against each other was a barn burner. I feel like it's going to be again, and it's going to be an offensive shootout. But yes. I'm going to go Winnipeg Calgary, just because it's a big game. It's a big game for the Bombers because you need to silence the critics a little bit, and you can't go 0-3 against the team. Once the playoffs come, if you've lost 3 times to Calgary, mentally right there, that's going to be another weight on your shoulders thinking, holy crap, these guys beat us 3 times a season. Can we even do it? And for Calgary, they got to kind of get out of the hole now, right? They've lost 2 games in a row to the East. And you've lost 2 times this year to Ottawa, of all teams.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt, eh?
Those are 2 of your losses, right? Ottawa hasn't beaten anybody else but Calgary. So, and I know PJ Walker was a guy, and the first time was a torrential downpour. But I think this is a game for Calgary to kind of also as well silence some critics and kind of saying, hey, we're still a good team. We lost our starting quarterback, and that made us suffer a little bit. But I think it'll be a big game on both sides and hopefully entertaining as well.
Yeah, and the Lions, if they lose a bit of footing also on their crossover.
Yeah. And that's big for the Bombers, right? If the Lions were to lose and the Bombers could win, now you open up a 2-game lead on BC, plus you have the season series, right? Yeah. So it gives you a bit of breathing room. So
yeah. Hamilton also almost clinches a playoff spot pretty much with this win. Gosh.
Running away with it. Bo Levi. What a guy.
Redemption song. Benny, what do you have to say to our friends?
You know what? Just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe and follow, and go Bombers go.
And in the famous words of LeVar Burton, who was on Reading Rainbow, it's crazy that PBS is dead pretty much. They've lost their funding. There's no more free thing for like Sesame Street. No more pledge drives with a free tote bag. Isn't that crazy?
That sucks. I could use a tote bag.
Well, you're not going to get one from PBS for much longer. Those will be collector's items now.
Yeah,
go scoop them up. Give
go
up
find
the money. Unbelievable. So from LeVar Burton, in the meantime, and no, that's the other one. That's the wrestling one. So from the famous words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.